Hey guys and girls. Well, as you can see, the car is looking the same as it used to. However, in my swag box I have got complete sphere replacement, which is nice. Anyway, all new spheres. They came to a grand total of £209.14. Yes, whatever, not fussed. You may think the wheels look a little different. They're actually the plastic rings from off a VW. I just because I work in a scrapyard, of course. They yeah, I saw them and thought, oh, they're cool. I'll just chuck one on there, see what it looks like, and it's been left on. Anyway, I digress. Let's see what else has been going off with the old Citroen, shall we? Right. Engine-wise, no change. Yeah. However, on the back end, I think the last video you saw, I had the rear axle completely in bits and off the car. Well, the back bumpers are back on, although not very good. It's only held on with 2 screws to at each end, because I keep dropping the damn screws through the holes. So now they're stuck in this wheel. So yeah, I've got a couple of bolts in there, which I can only get off when I get the wheels back on the car. Which hopefully isn't going to be very soon, because oh my, look at that, all shiny and new. Okay, the brake caliper is the original calipers. I've put a new, these calipers are very interesting calipers because they, inside here, just here literally, they have a little rubber seal, and it makes, this caliper splits apart, completely splits apart. And, yeah, there's a little rubber seal just here, and I've just replaced that one. But it's a bit scratchy. That's because the brake caliper, the brake disc is not on the hub properly yet. I've got to, obviously I'm just going to zip tie them onto there, I'm lazy. The original bracket is around somewhere, but somewhere, so I'm afraid I'm just zip tying them on. I know the originality is going to suffer, but I just want a working car now. I really wanted to change those, but when I saw how much they were online, I was like, oh, screw that. Honestly, they're a fortune for a bit of rubber. I was like, lol, no way. So as you can see, the 2 spheres on the rear have been changed. Quite nice. I am just going through the process of piping up the breathers for the rear.
Adam, to the office, please. Adam, to the office.
For the rear gaiters. I could use the original piping. There's absolutely nothing wrong with the original piping. Where is the? Where is it? There it is. The original pipe is in perfect working order. It's just that I'll put new on because why not? It's roughly the same diameter as well. It's slightly thicker stuff, but I'm not too fussed with that. I'm considering keeping the original pipe, this thing just here, tip of my finger, going front to back. Although I was considering changing it out for straight polyurethane, this plasticky stuff. It's in good condition, so I don't know. It's a different size from this stuff, which is a bit of a pain. So I may just end up running a full new length all the way to the front, and then just plumbing it straight into the LHM tank. Moving up to the height corrector, I just had a bit of fun fitting this on here. Really scratched my axle, as you can see, which I'm not too chuffed about, but hey, it happens. It's got plenty of scratches on it. There's all scratches here. The bloody arms look horrific. Look how many nicks there are in the paint of those. I can touch them up, I suppose, later on, but yeah. Anyway, I had all this thing apart because this was seized solid. It's now free. I can't really move it because the height corrector's got pressure on there at the moment. But that's very close to the car body actually. Just bear with me because of the noise level again. But yeah, now this is unseasoned, it works perfect and moves well, so that's good. What else? As you can see, the fuel tank's on. From a very good chap on eBay, I managed to get hold of a fuel sender, which is the little thing the pipes click on, goes into the bottom. You'll see my lanyard. It's the thing that the two pipes go into the tank, you know, and it clicks onto those. Yeah, them two lines there are both rubber feeds, because I'm replacing the fuel lines with this polyurethane tubing here. And we're going to run those to the front instead of using the original steel lines, because steel's crap. To put it bluntly, steel sucks. They're just rotted completely out. So they're getting changed for this polyurethane. Pretty much every modern car is using that nowadays, so this thing can have it as well. What else? Everything is copper slipped up to hell, as you can see. Overdone it on the copper slip, I guess, but I don't really care. It's all, you know, to prolong the longevity of the vehicle. What else? I've not changed those rubber bushes there. I have changed the front ones, the ones that live just under here, that the arm actually swings on. I don't know why they've turned them into a swinging type arm. It must literally only just be for fitting purposes only. But I've changed those for new ones. They didn't look that bad, to be fair. I'll keep the old ones as spare just in case. But I didn't change these top ones. Should have done really, I suppose, but to be fair, they're not hard to change. It's just two bolts, one on the boot floor, and then this one, well, two. So it's two nuts, should I say. Nice and easy. As you can see, like I say, everything is copper slipped. All of the fuel tank things have all got copper slip around them as well. Just because I have had a lot of experience with cars, and they always you know, corrode and you can't get them off. So if you just chuck copper slip over them, you know, it just makes them last a lot longer. That's what I've done. It does work well, it really does. Put it this way, I've never had a Jubilee clip fail because it's rotted off if I've used copper slip, but the ones that I can't get to and I can't copper slip, not on this car, this is on other cars, they have eventually corroded and snapped. The pipes have not burst off because they're stuck on that hard, but you know, you come to undo the Jubilee clip when you have stripped it all down and the thing just crumbles away. Right. What else? I've had to run one new line on this. I've not replaced all the lines. I've just replaced one, and this is the feed for the rear suspension. So this is the one that goes into your spheres, so to speak, into your pistons. I don't know what the name of these things are here. These things, I just call them pistons because that's pretty much what they are. Hydraulic pistons. So I wanted to change this line here, which is the return for the height corrector. But I just thought, just chuck some paint on it, and if it fails again, it's that easy to change. I will just change it and swap it out straight for a nylon pipe. You know, one of these polyurethane jobbies, which is what I'd go and do. That's what it's going to have run into it here anyway. It's going to have a polyurethane pipe jammed on the end and Jubilee clipped. If you remember on one of my videos, I had a really good leak on this when I tried to run the hydraulic pump off a battery drill. Stop doing that, lanyard. It was because this pipe failed here and it actually snapped and burst off, and that was because this was seized up to hell, so it was just returning straight back through this pipe. As quick as the hydraulic pump could put pressure down here, it was just bringing it back through here. I'm pretty confident I've got that freed up. Now, if you have, well, before I put this bit on, the little pivot here, you could pull the lever back and forth and you could hear it hissing through the bleed off, the breather. So it now moves in and out quite freely, which is good. All new seals have been put in that as well, which are nice. I had to source the seals manually, but I managed to get them, which was nice. Took some doing. There's probably people out there that do actually sell the seals for them, but I couldn't find any. Well, I did find some, but that was after I rebuilt it, naturally. It's amazing how heavy this bloody axle is. When it's just the bare frame of the axle, it's quite light, but when you bolt everything to it, it's heavy. Oh, something else you guys want to see. Now, you guys will know that... Wow, what the hell are they doing out there? You guys will know that the pivot bearings inside these axles, so the bit that this axle pivots on... Oh, I can't move it. Yeah, I can. They're not bushes in these, they're bearings. So the guys, obviously, who have Citroen BXs know that they're bearings, not bushes. Now, that's well and good, but bearings require one thing, and which bushes don't. And that's lubrication. Bearings never need lubrication. Sorry, bushes never need lubrication. Bearings, on the other hand, do. So what happens with these is, inside here, you've got a bearing. Now, obviously, you've got to stop crap from getting into the bearing. So it's got a seal on it. Obviously, the bearings have got a seal anyway, but then there's another seal that goes just after, like an oil seal kind of thing. And I'll tell you something, guys and girls, the seals that came in the kit that I had were absolutely diabolical. Honestly, it's like you cut them out with a pair of scissors. Well, it's like you cut them out with a pair of serrated scissors. They were like, wow. They wasn't seals at all. They were just like, oh, water here. This is how you enter this bearing. You know, it was like horrific. So I went out and bought some seals for it, some proper seals. Like what goes in a car engine. Yes. Part and parcel of the scrapyard, guys. You got to accept loud noises. Yeah. So I chucked them seals in there, and then I thought to myself, well, how am I going to grease this up? Because inside here there's supposed to be a plastic tube, which the bearing sort of sits in between the two bearings each side, and that's supposed to retain all your grease. And that's all well and good, but you try and press the replacement plastic tube in, because the only way to get the bearings out is to destroy that tube. You can't, basically. I tried and tried to get the plastic tube in there, and I ended up just cracking the plastic tube trying to squeeze it through the narrow gap. I even went so far as to heat the thing up and try and fold it in on itself, and it didn't work. It just again split. So I thought, right, to hell with you. There's going to be no plastic tube in here. Instead, what we're going to do is we're going to fill it, you know, put loads of grease in there. But what we're going to do is, because this is a hollow arm, we're going to fill it full of oil. Sorry about that. And the thing with filling these full of oil is, you know, it's a good idea. I can't see any problems that you would get with filling these full of oil. The biggest worry I had is the oil going to run out? And sure enough, just down here, if I get the camera and tilt it, it's very well painted, but just under here there is a little rubber grommet, if I can spot it, and I can't bloody see it now. You run my hand under here. Oh, it's down there, just under the guard. So you see that green thing sticking down just above my finger here? That's actually a rubber grommet. Sorry, a rubber bung that I bought. Well, it's not rubber; it's actually silicon. So it's a silicon bung, because silicon doesn't really oil doesn't really eat away at silicon that much. It does a little bit, but not as much as what thingy. They were quite expensive, actually. The hole itself is a 13mm hole. I did drill it back out again just to get all the corrosion out of the hole, because it was quite heavily corroded. So I drilled it back out to 13mm because obviously the rust had expanded the hole, you know, and everything. And when these were off the car, I literally tipped them upside down with obviously all the bearings in and seals in and whatnot. And I just started to fill them up with oil. I just got an old oil lift pump. You know, you do it with your finger, your thumb. It squirts the oil out. I just kept filling that up with some old engine oil that I had. New engine oil, but it was just like top-up oil that I had from one of my previous cars. I think it was just straightforward 15W40 or something. Simple, easy stuff. Fully synthetic oil. I just filled it up with that stuff, and yeah, there you go. Put the bung in. I didn't fill it up so it was coming out. I left quite a big air gap. But the idea is now that when the car is sat upright, when the suspension is all the way up, the oil all runs down to the back and lubricates the bearings. And then when the car is sat down, you know, when the car is running, you know, the oil just splashes around with the arms moving around a lot. But it'll get its main lubrication when the car is sat stationary. And I'm not too fussed about it because I'm pretty confident that it's going to keep them living a long time. The main issue is the bearing seals fail, and let's then start letting water in. But now I've got oil in there. As soon as I start seeing oil dripping out the thing, I'll know that, well, they need to be replaced. So it's a win-win. As far as I can tell, it does make them slightly more heavy, you know, but a little bit more weight to the longevity of the car is something I don't mind sacrificing. Keep in mind, I have got the what do you call it, the little bit of a turbo upgrade on this thing, and it's going to have a bit more, produce a little bit more power, I do believe. Not a hell of a lot, but just a little bit more. I'm not after modifying this car, you know, in crazy terms, to make it some kind of rocket. I just want it to be, you know, nice and you know, modern, so to speak, I suppose. If I can get like the same horsepower out of this as, say, a 10-year-old common rail diesel engine, then that'll be fine by me. And keep in mind, 10 years ago, what was it, 2007, back in those days, they had diesel cars that were producing 140 brake horsepower, which is quite good. I don't really want that kind of horsepower out of this. 120 would be fine for me, you know, 115 maybe. Enough. I mean, I'm not sure the weight of this car, but it's got to be getting on for probably, you know, a ton, probably 1,200 kilograms maybe. It's going to weigh a lot more than a Fiat Panda, put it that way. And the engine in this, the engine in my Fiat Panda is a 75 brake horsepower, and this one's supposedly a 90 brake horsepower. So I'm pretty much probably going to be looking at the same acceleration speeds as my little Fiat, which, to be fair, is not great, but like, it's livable with. The main reason why I went for a diesel car was because I wanted economy. I like diesel. I like the torque that diesels have. Even though it is an old pre-combustion type engine, it'll be good. Anyway, I do need to get it to crack on with this because time is running out, and this was just supposed to be a little update video. I will say that I have got to set this all up again because obviously this has all been turned and taken off and whatnot, so it does all need to be put back, and when the car is running, I've got to get it up on some ramps and actually adjust this to get the right ride height, which is, I assume that's how it works. It seems that that's how it would work, being as this is the thing that does your height correction. So yeah, as always, keep spraying the old grease on everything, make sure everything is nicely lubricated and rust proofed, and I will catch you on the next video, guys and girls. Anything else I need to tell you about? Not really. I can actually start putting the seats in there because I've not yet got the seats in the car, so they can go in. So that might be a job I'll do after I've done this pipe work. Anyway, guys and girls, thanks for watching. I'll catch you on the next video. Peace out.